Today's webinar about how CIPHR iRecruit could transform your hiring in 2019. My name is Cathryn Newbery and I'm CIPHR's Content Marketing Editor. I'm joined today by Charlotte Lake, one of CIPHR's account managers. Welcome, Charlotte. It's great to have you with us today.
Hi, Cathryn. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me.
Here's the agenda for today. The webinar should last around 45 minutes with about 30 minutes from us and then time at the end to answer your questions. Do send in your questions, comments and queries using the box on screen at any time during the broadcast and we'll answer them as best we can. If you miss anything or have to leave the broadcast at any time, don't worry. Everyone who is registered will receive a link shortly after this broadcast ends to an on-demand version you can watch at any time or share with your colleagues if you think they'll be interested. So I'm going to kick us off with taking a quick look at the state of the UK labour market and some of the associated key hiring challenges facing HR teams. You can see from these statistics that competition for the best candidates is hotting up. More people are in work than ever, which is leading to higher wages as organisations resort to wage increases to secure the best candidates. A rising proportion of employers say that not only is it harder to fill vacancies, but it's also more challenging to retain staff once they have been recruited. 34%, that's a third of UK employers, say that retention pressures have recently risen. Now we're going to look at some of the key hiring challenges we're seeing in 2019. Brexit is naturally a major theme, but there are other more structural challenges to tackle as well. The fall in migrant workers and difficulties obtaining visas for non-EU workers means organisations are being warned to start planning for post-Brexit shortages, and you can see here the number of EU-born workers fell by 4.5% compared to 2017. Nearly half, 48% of UK workers are in jobs they feel under or over-skilled for, which is a huge problem that can lead to increased workloads and also a decline in engagement due to them feeling undervalued or overworked. In fact, the vast majority, 91% of UK businesses say they struggle to find skilled workers. We can also see from this data that recruitment processes are becoming increasingly lengthy, meaning employers with long hiring timelines are losing out on the candidates who don't wish to go through such a time-consuming process. Nearly 3/4, 71% of job seekers would abandon an online application if it took 15 minutes or longer to complete, according to the Hays What Workers Want report 2018, which also discovered that almost 1 in 10 job hunters would consider leaving an application after only 5 minutes. Add this all together and it's really critical for you to get your recruitment technology right in order to support your organisation's goals. So that's our view on the biggest hiring challenges facing employers right now. It's time to find out what you think. Here's the first of our polls for today. What's your biggest hiring challenge for 2019? Just check one of the 5 options here: engaging line managers, improving time to hire, building a strong employer brand, improving diversity of hire, or ensuring a good candidate experience. Charlotte, what do you think might be one of the popular options here?
I think it's going to be quite an even spread, actually. All sectors may have different priorities and range in importance. However, I think that improving time to hire and ensuring candidate experience is going to be probably one of the 2 top priorities that we'll look to see here.
Okay, thanks very much. Just going to close the poll and collect the results now. And actually, Charlotte, your expectations are spot on there. We can see like a really even spread of challenges that people are facing. But interestingly and perhaps reassuringly, engaging with line managers is not one of them. So that's a great place to start from. Fantastic. So we're going to move on now to have a look at how iRecruit can help you and improve your candidate experience. Over to Charlotte.
Brilliant. Thank you, Cathryn. So yes, I'm now going to give a brief overview of CIPHR iRecruit from 2 key areas. So we have the candidate experience, and then of course we have the HR or recruiter access. So here we have our careers portal. So this is where your potential candidates will be directed to view your open vacancies, apply for live jobs, and access their candidate portal using their personal login to manage their recruitment experience. Everything that we can see here is of course highly configurable. All branding, themes, images and videos can be configured with our team and matched to your company website, so the user experience is seamless and has the same feel. So a link will be integrated directly into your website, perhaps on a careers page that you already have. The candidate will then be redirected to your iRecruit portal, and this will open into the page we see here, perhaps keeping the same theme throughout so they complement each other. There are numerous tabs across the top that can be configured. So we have the following tabs that you can see, such as careers. Perhaps you wish to give an overview of your current recruitment process, interview stages, what happens next, or a look into colleagues or departments. Company and benefits, it's a great area to promote why it's great to work for you and all of the key benefits that your candidates would receive should they be successful. Apprenticeships, again, if this is something that you offer at your organisation, perhaps further info can be displayed, such as designated member to contact or how often such vacancies arise. We've of course got a submit CV button here, so for a simple submit and use at a later date. These tabs are here as an example. Some customers choose to have less than this, and also of course relabel the tabs depending on your preferences. And then that brings us to the login area in the top right area, which is where the candidates would go to access their information. So here we have the candidate area, which they can access using their secure email address or username and password. So they would come here to view completed and incomplete application forms, including the ability to track your application process. So as you can see, using the helpful tool here, they can track and be aware of the progress of an application and what stage they are at, which actually could reduce the time spent for yourselves and HR teams, depending on if candidates tend to chase with you on occasions. They can also save applications and return at a later date to complete, and of course withdraw their application at any given time. We have your communications area on the left, which all correspondence can be sent via the usual Outlook and Hotmail, but this also provides an area to receive that correspondence that is relevant to each job application, and they can read and respond directly through the portal, including interviews where they can self-serve their bookings and receive invitations. We've got your personal details tab as well on the left, so they're responsible for their own personal data and their consent given. So with access at any point in the process and any time, they can come here to add, amend or remove their personal data at any point. Along with your data protection policy that will be displayed here, this will also be present and readily available for the candidate to have access to and consent to, which of course is a high priority with GDPR. Candidates would also come here for their job alerts, so to create, amend and delete job alerts based on their current recruitment needs, interests and regions. So again, giving them the responsibility to take charge of their data. Here we've got a brief example of a job posting. So we can see here for a HR business partner, you can see the salary is displayed. Again, this can either be as a figure or you can see it's written as competitive, so you have the option to manually override. Location, a brief job summary, and actually there's a video included here, followed by further role details. Of course, this is all highly configurable. You have access to create your job vacancies through the recruiter access, which we'll look at later on. You have the ability to upload images and videos, as well as further documentation that can be downloaded by the candidate, such as a full job spec or person specifications, benefits involved, anything that you'd wish the candidate to have access to. With any posting, the candidate can choose to print the job using the links below, add to their favourites for a later date, complete, start or continue an application, and also share a link with a family or friend so that may be interested in the post. I've just inserted two examples here for you to get a better idea of some of our customers to show how these can be configured. So we have here Bryanston School. They have opted to have a lovely bright image in the background of their grounds and building. So they've actually only chosen to have 3 of the tabs across the top as well, with current vacancies, recruitment process, and what it's like to work at Bryanston. And we've also got a Pure Gym here. Again, they've chosen to have a slight fade in the, to the centre slightly so that more of the image is visible. So that's a personal preference to them. Again, they've only chosen to have the 3 tabs across the top. And of course, the colours, logo will all be fed through to suit their brand. So here we've got, whilst we're going through the candidate experience, I'm now going to touch upon your data protection obligations to applicants under GDPR, which of course has been a top priority this past year. So we have the fair and lawful with transparency. Your organisation is committed to being transparent about how you collect data and how you use candidate data and personal information, both during and after a job application. We have access to data upon request. So this relates to the subject access requests, which we previously had to pay £10, and organisations had 40 days to respond to these requests. However, now that charge has been removed, and requests can be made at any point, and the 40 days to respond has been reduced to as soon as possible. Of course, with CIPHR iRecruit, the candidate has full access to their data using their login at any time. Clear consent, of course, to data processing. iRecruit gives the candidate access to your data protection statement and a consent box that they would go in and tick. So this is always clearly given. A consideration for anyone using paper trails or emails, that actually has this consent been given for their data to remain for that amount of time, and how are you actually tracking this? So that's an interesting thought. And lastly, is this still necessary for your purposes, and making sure that data is securely deleted when there is no longer a need for it.
Thank you, Charlotte, for that overview of the candidate side of iRecruit. We're now just going to take a quick second poll here. How are you currently managing your recruitment? Just check one of the relevant options here. Using an ATS, are you storing candidate information in an email system, storing candidate information in other digital files? Are you using paper-based storage, or are you using another method? Charlotte, what are you finding that most people are using that you're speaking to?
Again, I predict a fairly even spread. There are numerous ways that recruitment is managed. I would anticipate seeing a high number are using paper-based storage or through an email system, such as printing CVs or applications, personally handing these over or sending through email, or perhaps even storing in a filing cabinet if the candidate is not right for the role. But of course, I would hope the majority are moving away from this and towards an applicant tracking system. So it'd be interesting to see.
Okay, thanks for those predictions. We're going to close the poll now and share the results with you. We have a third of you saying that you're using paper-based storage, so clearly you guys are in the right place. You need to look at that with regards to your GDPR responsibilities, and 2/3 of you are storing candidate information in other digital files, which is a bit more secure but is still inherently problematic when it comes to GDPR. So Charlotte, over to you for the remaining look at iRecruit.
Thank you, Catherine. So yeah, now we're going to look at how iRecruit can help support and streamline your processes. So of course, we can automate candidate shortlisting and screening. So initially by using the data captured in the application forms, including the options to add unlimited killer questions, this will assist with the sifting of applications and help to qualify them before they've even been received, ensuring that you're getting the best candidates for the role from the initial offset. Other ways include our iRecruit Assessors portal, so the ability to electronically send candidate applications for approval from a hiring manager or group, to score and review based on qualifications and skills, all the while hiding sensitive information. And also through online psychometric testing, such as our CIPHR Connect partner ThriveMap, which provide pre-hire assessments to make more informed hiring decisions. A solution that can be designed and configured. So iRecruit is fully configurable, as mentioned, with job approval workflows, recruitment workflows, and customer-specific application forms, plus a designated project manager that you'll be provided to assist with your branding requirements and configuration to get the most out of your solution. Reaching and attracting candidates through various channels, such as job boards using our partner Broadbean, through social media platforms such as LinkedIn and Twitter integrations that we can provide, and also through agencies, so who can also have specific access to your recruitment portal to submit their own candidates. Track and monitor applicants from the initial job posting to an interview time and date offer using our interview centres, and hopefully all the way through to a successful job offer. This then flows into their journey within your organisation, and of course giving them the best start, which will later affect retention periods. This also provides the ability to analyse data and identify trends and drive future decisions. And of course, a smooth transition. So once a successful candidate has been offered a job, we have the ability to transfer their information into your CIPHR solution, into their new role and ready for their first day. This can then be linked with our onboarding tool as part of an induction process, so giving them self-service access to complete personal details at home before their first day in the office. So now we'll just give a brief look at our recruiters portal. We've seen the candidate experience, so I'll just briefly show you how this would look from a recruiter or HR view. So this is whoever will be taking responsibility for job postings and applications and the recruitment process. As you can see here, we've got our dashboard. This is what you'd be presented with. To the right, we have an easy manage dashboard section. So this is where you can configure the layout of your dashboard, the desired look and feel, which will greet you each time. An overview of what your dashboard can give you access to is candidate statistics, the last 5 viewed candidates and edited jobs, applications per status, a quick look at my jobs active, inactive and archived, and of course further quick links for actions such as a quick add new job or arrange an interview centre. Here we've got my jobs area, so this is where you can see all of your active jobs, a brief overview of the job detail including the usual title, reference number, expiry date and also vacancy views, which is great to provide further insight into the traffic that your role is receiving online. Across the right hand side, it might be a little too small to see, but we've got quick link options such as the ability to duplicate this job posting, which is an invaluable option for organisations that may post, for example, numerous HR administrator roles where the details, pay and benefits remain the same. However, it's just one simple element that you'd like to change, such as the location. So this, of course, gives the ability to duplicate the post and change that element rather than going through the full process. And we of course have the template library too, which you can save templates for future use. Some of the other highlights we can see are bulk print of CVs, bulk candidate status change or job status updates. These are actions that actually we found are often completed at one given time, and the ability to do this electronically in bulk will be a huge time saver for you. Here we've got a brief look at your candidates. So these can be viewed by job, by status, or by using our talent search. All candidates will be assigned to the relevant roles, and you can view all together at any point with the option to quickly download the application as a Word document, flag if this is an internal or an external application form, and be made aware if this applicant has also applied previously. Once we've clicked down into a specific candidate, this is where you have the ability to download their details as a PDF, whilst also hiding sensitive data. We can update their status, invite straight to interview, reject from this area, and also we have our CIPHR candidate transfer. So this is the ability to export into your core CIPHR solution. Next, we've got our talent search area. So this provides the ability to do a keyword search on CVs in the database. Perhaps a candidate was brilliant at interview and feedback can be left from hiring managers. However, they were just not right at that time or for that specific role. So this is an invaluable area and useful with searching your database for qualified applicants and actually seeing if they're still active with their job alerts and perhaps worth making contact. And within CIPHR iRecruit, we have just over around 180 standard reports. Such reports can be accessed through this area here by any members of the team. Reports such as candidate vacancy source, job-based data, and time to hire from their application form to a successful job offer. So how can CIPHR iRecruit integrate with other HR and recruitment software? So our CIPHR Connect partner Broadbean provides the ability to post jobs directly to your preferred channels and track the source of applications for reporting analysis. This is something that we can integrate with. LinkedIn, so the ability to integrate and post your jobs to a much larger platform with over 500 million members. Thrive Map, which we've mentioned briefly before, so understanding how a candidate would fit in a team before you hire them through pre-hire assessments and psychometric testing, of course customized to your culture. Background checks such as Trust ID for essential reliable online checks and identity document validation, and of course the DVLA for vehicle checks. And lastly, we've got video screening through our partner Tribe iPad. So this is set to redefine the future of recruitment, and this trend will only intensify. With the help of a video interview, you can have communication with the candidates at their own convenient time and place, which can ultimately assist with the initial screening of candidates and move on to the next process, which may well be a face-to-face interview.
Fantastic. Thank you, Charlotte, for giving us such a great look at iRecruit. I know it's a huge product, so that's just a kind of a whistle-stop tour of what it can help you with. We now have some time to answer any questions you might have about iRecruit or how CIPHR can assist with your hiring procedures. So send them in using the question box that you can see on your screen now. I've got a couple of questions for you myself, Charlotte. Can we use CIPHR iRecruit on mobile devices?
Yes, absolutely. So CIPHR's mobile functionality provides your employees and managers with fast and easy access to their information at home or on the go through a secure web portal on a range of devices.
Okay, that's great. Are there different levels of iRecruit that I could potentially use? I mean, if I'm in a smaller organisation, not doing such a great volume of hiring every year, and I might not need the full product.
Absolutely. So looking back at the poll earlier as well, we like to identify that actually it's the importance of having an applicant tracking system, not how many jobs you're posting and prices, and some of these might be too large for your organisation. We understand that there are different levels, and of course we've created our iRecruit Essentials platform. So it's essentially a mini version, if you will, and provides the ability to purchase further areas of the portal at a later date if and when necessary. So perhaps your organisation has experienced growth and certain areas would need to be added on at a later date, then you can of course do that. So please do get in touch with your account manager who can provide further details for you and go through all of the areas that are included as standard for this and actually what suit your requirements.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. What kind of implementation time would I be looking at for iRecruit?
Yeah, so iRecruit, it may differ based on the configuration needs, but an average implementation time would probably be around 12 to 16 weeks.
Okay, so that's fairly speedy, but if you know your hiring challenges are, if you know your hiring volumes are going to come up, maybe start looking at this now rather than wait until you're already in the midst of it, because you don't want to be juggling all those applications and an implementation project alongside it. So something that I've read a lot about in the press is around the importance of improving diversity and inclusion when it comes to hiring, and that one way that people are doing that is through they call it blind CV screening or blind hiring. Can you tell me about how iRecruit might support that?
As I mentioned briefly before, we have our assessors portal. So it's a separate portal that applications can be electronically sent with the ability to hide all of that sensitive information, such as gender, ethnicity or sex, and a group of hiring managers or line managers can access these applications with that information hidden. So the applications would be sent to the assessors portal. They would then log in and actually score or rate these applications based on the skills and qualifications alone. So of course, providing the ability to just look through their application and their experience rather than areas that we can hide that sensitive data.
Okay, that's great. I think that's it's a really difficult thing to make blind CV screening work in practice if you're not using a piece of technology that's designed to facilitate it, because otherwise somebody's going to have to look at them at some point. But the beauty of using an ATS like iRecruit is that it can take care of that for you and help to remove some of that bias. If my organisation is using recruitment agencies, are they able to access iRecruit?
Yep, so mentioned a little bit before, we can provide a portal for agency access alone. So we understand that people would still potentially use agencies in terms of reaching and attracting candidates. The agencies would actually have their own access with their own username and password, and they would then go onto this portal and upload their applicants that they're actually submitting based on that role. So you would assign a role, an active job to a vacancy. They would only be able to see that vacancy and that role and actually upload applicants to it, and then you of course can review yourself or hiring or line managers.
Fantastic. It's great news that everybody can work together through the single system rather than you having to maintain separate databases or systems for your agency staff as well. So that's great. That covers all of the questions that we've had in today. If you have any further questions about iRecruit, don't hesitate to get in touch with your CIPHR account manager, who will be delighted to assist you. Thank you for joining us on today's webinar, and thank you, Charlotte, for sharing your expertise with us. If you'd like to find out more about iRecruit or any of the other recruitment-focused solutions that we've talked about today, either speak directly to your account manager or check the option that you'll see on exiting this webinar. We hope to see you at another CIPHR webinar again soon. Thanks, bye.
Thank you.